Welcome to the Sisters of the Shire Podcast. I'm Abby, and alongside my co-host Ashley, we have set out on a noble quest to make the great J.R.R. Tolkien's epic, although sometimes intimidatingly complex, literary works accessible to all, whether you are a seasoned scholar or a curious newcomer.
This season, we are diving into the unfinished tales. If you've already journeyed through these pages like me, virtual high five, but also make sure you stick around. We might reveal some things you might have missed, or we can just geek out together over the lore and legends that make up this tale.
Or perhaps you've read Tolkien's classics, like the epic saga of Lord of the Rings or the whimsical tale of The Hobbit. But those other stories have always made you curious. Our cozy corner is where you can explore those lesser-known tales with zero intimidation and loads of merriment along the way.
So, fellow travelers, let us now embark on this literary adventure together through Tolkien's unfinished tales.
Let's go!
Abigail, it's been so long.
Oh, it's been so long.
Sorry.
So when Ashley was gone, she asked me to kind of like fill in some Instagram posts of saying, hey, she's out of town. We're going to be a little late on some episodes. And she said that where she was kind of looked like Lake Town. And I said, oh, well, of course she's out helping defeat Smaug up in Lake Town.
Of course. I mean, I could have.
So, how was defeating
Arrow?
How was defeating
it was
Smaug?
great. It was great. I feel like, Alaska. Only thing close to it I could think of was Lake Town. I mean, it wasn't like Karataras or whatever, like the mountain, because it wasn't like full on snowy mountains, but it had like a bit of a Lake Town, kind of a wet, kind of a misty, kind of a gray vibe to it. I'm also wondering, I feel like Tolkien missed something. I feel like a cool, like, I'm going to say ice palace, and then immediately I think of Elsa, but a cool ice elf would have been cool.
Oh, I mean, he did.
Like, there was a gap there.
But they weren't happy about it.
They were not happy about it. I mean, like a cool, like, woodland realm, but ice. How cool would that have been?
Oh, they're too. But the thing is that like the cold doesn't bother them anyway.
Exactly.
No, but I feel like the dwarves and the men are that like hardy, like they make them look like that because they're, exposed to the elements of the extreme cold and weather. But the elves would have done great. Like, they would have been fine with it.
Right. That's my point.
That would be really cool. And they had they'll have like white silvery hair or
exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm thinking?
What?
The winter fairies from
yes.
Tinkerbell.
Yes. 100% that.
His name and fled. That's perfect.
I love that movie.
Deep cut if you're not a parent of a child who loves the Tinkerbell movies.
But even like the library, like how it was all like, I don't know. I'm still going with it. Yeah, and like his staff and I like it.
Okay. So Ashley Ashley defeated all the moose and the bears and everything in Alaska and Smaug. And she returned to us finally. She's back on the
I'm back.
Lower 48.
Yes.
And
I'm sorry for the lack of episodes, and I'm sorry for the lack of Instagram. You think like, oh, she'll be on a cruise ship. She'll have plenty of time on her hands. No, I was on a cruise ship with a 6-year-old. That's not the same thing.
And you're also fighting the seas.
Yes.
of being
I
seasick.
got a little seasick just on like one of the days. And then I like wore these like totally unflattering bracelets. Hole in the market, make cooler looking acupuncture pressure thingy
Oh, my son has
sickness
those.
bracelets.
My
Yeah.
son has those, and he lost some of his, so he has to wear his sister's bright pink ones.
I mean, I think that's only fair, but I mean, they could be cooler is all I'm saying. Mine are like gray. Like,
His were bright blue. You could have had bright pink or blue ones.
I want bright pink or blue.
I know.
Mine was like medical device gray.
Whoa. Mm. It's
Paints the
it's
picture.
giving hospital. It's giving
Yes.
senior care center. It's giving
Yes. 1,000%. Yes. So
okay.
how have you been, Abby?
How have I been? I've been pretty good. We finished soccer season, which was a big chunk of my life. My son was in a musical, and that just finished.
He was the Mad Hatter.
He was Mad Hatter and Alice. It was so well done. It was very, very cute. I did feel bad.
I just have to brag on you for a second because you showed me pictures of the backdrops that you and Colt did.
Mm-hmm.
It looks exactly like Alice in Wonderland. And I am just continually in awe of your artistic skills.
It turned out so cute.
Freaking, if you paused Alice in Wonderland, like there'd be no differences. Like
it was really fun.
Impressive.
It was really fun to make. And I made the hats for all the little flowers of the golden afternoon. That's how the girls, because they had to be sassy because they're mean to Alice.
Oh, right.
And so they were in these like flapper dresses and they had these big flower headdresses on. And my favorite was just like, ew, crabgrass. She's like, oh, you slug. Anyway, so it was very, very cute. He did a wonderful job. My favorite was there's a part where he's in the court scene where the Queen of Hearts is like,
right,
Alice is a menace or whatever. And the Mad Hatter, my son, walks in and she goes, there are no hats in court. Off with his hat. And then my son pulls off his big Mad Hatter hat, and there's he's wearing a headband that you can't see, but it has a teapot glued to it, so it looks like he has a teapot like on his head, like balancing on his head when he takes his hat off. The crowd loved it. Awesome. It was pretty great. Nice. So that all finished up, and then we just been enjoying it. For some reason, as soon it was like okay, it's springtime, it's almost summer, Oregon said no, and we have had rain and it's been like 50 degrees.
Yeah, I have no idea what to wear anymore because you leave the house in one way and it's all about the layers. That's what we learned in the Pacific Northwest, right? All about them layers.
So today on Sunday, it's sunny, so I'm enjoying it. But
it's trying to sun, but also trying to like to rain at the same time. I'm like, where's the rainbow? Where's the rainbow?
Anyway, so Ashley, I'm glad you are back and we can get back into this chapter. You said to me earlier that this is the end of this chapter.
Yes, I have I've taken it on long enough. I mean, I wasn't trying to like prolong it. I wasn't trying to like make it last forever. Like, okay, Abby, can you see?
Okay, she's holding up the book, everyone. I'm doing a live review. She's showing me the webcam.
So, like, how much?
Go up just a little bit.
Decent amount.
Go up just there we go. That's probably 3/4 of an inch thick.
Yeah.
3/4 of an inch thick of just one chapter.
Yeah. Well, actually, that had the introduction in it. There. How about that?
That's like half an inch.
Yeah. So that's just one chapter. And, you know, in the Silmarillion, we get like a page, I feel like, compared with an entire chapter. So there just was so many details to go over, you guys. But your patience has been rewarded. We are going to finish today. And I am so excited.
Let's do this.
Let's do this. So how much do you remember of last week? I know it's been a hot minute. What do you remember?
Ooh, I just listened to our episode because I quilt, and so when I'm quilting I listen to podcasts, and I was listening to ours yesterday. I remember that they had made it to the river and they were going across, and the eagles were protecting them kind of to get to the other side, and and they were crossing, or they were like on roads that like Olmo had dried up the rivers and basically like made the rivers make these roads but then dry them up later in life. So like he went through the years of erosion and everything and made these roads, and then he dried them up with rivers, and then he dried them up and said, okay, here, I literally made you a road, here you go. And
that's why almost the best.
And
patient man.
Like Tuor and Veronwë were kind of fighting, but not really fighting about finally getting to Gondolin, because I feel like Tuor was very fed up of like just I
just want to get this over with.
Yeah, like the whole
I just want to go.
The whole journey of it was very exhausting and hard for them, and he's like, it's literally right there. And he's like, and Veronwë was saying, you know, we can't run out into the open. And so I feel like they kind of had a little scuffle. It doesn't say in the book, but I feel like they had a little scuffle.
We read that between the lines. In between the lines, they had a domestic.
Yeah. Then he's like, oh, but the eagles are there. And we're going to be protected, I guess, from, you know, like being able to cross freely to get to Gondolin. So, then they get over there. They get over there, and then they are in another cave, because I guess if Tuor is around, there's got to be caves.
Sure. Yeah, adds up.
And it's really dark in there. Like it's very like kind of like what happened last time with Tuor when he got left in another dark cave. I don't get.
Yes.
I think it's because they're like. I think it's because they forget that, you know, humans can't see in the dark, and then elves are like, what? You got a problem with this? And they're like, yeah, you literally cannot see. It reminds me of my friend. She told me one time that she had a professor in college that was blind, like legally blind. And he would have students like, you know, come meet with him in his office about like some grades or papers or whatever. And they'd like walk into his office and all the lights would be off. Like it would be completely dark in his room. But he'd be in his room.
He doesn't know the difference.
Yeah, he doesn't know the difference. And then they'll walk in, and then like a few minutes into talking to them, he's like, oh my gosh, I didn't turn the lights on. Like, I'm so sorry. I totally forgot. Because he doesn't know that they're, you know, there's a difference of that. So I feel like elves are like that, where they're like, what's the problem? Like, just go through the cave. Can't you see where you're going?
No, we don't have night.
Maybe that's the deterrent of if you're not cool enough to go into Gondolin, is you can't see
maybe
a really dark cave.
Because, I mean, there's a lot of deterrents. There's that, you know, freaking river you have to cross. There's the dry riverbed, which looks like it was from like hell to like have to climb up this like bouldery path. And then the thicket. Remember, there was like a thicket covering the cave entrance. And then you get the cave and it's all dark. There's so many deterrents.
And then at the end of the cave, it reminds me of through a dark, do you know that old like kind of poem song? It's like, in a dark, dark wood, there's a dark, dark path. And down the dark, dark path. Do you know? You don't know that one? Somewhere out there is someone listening.
Keep going.
And down the dark, dark path is a dark, dark wood. In the dark, dark wood, there's a dark, dark house. And in the dark, dark house, there's a dark, dark stairs. And then it goes on the very.
You're like a little kid. Like, what next, mommy?
I know. That's what it is. I read it to Oakley. It's his favorite because at the end he's like, and in a dark, dark box, there's a. And then you turn the page, a ghost. And it's like this cute little, like very Muppets, like Ghost of Christmas Present looking ghost. Like,
oh, no.
No, Ghost of Christmas Present, not Christmas
Oh,
Past.
present. Sorry. You're right.
The happy one.
The happy one.
Anyway, so down the dark, they cross the dark, dark river and the dark, dark cave, and then they met some mean elves.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. I literally left you in the dark. Veronway and Tuor were, wandering in the dark cave, and then all of a sudden they heard a voice, and it said, quote, "Stand, stir not, or you will die, be you foes or friends."
Okay. So what is he supposed to do? Because he's like...
What is the right answer here?
Yeah. Or it's like that thing. It's like, put your gun down. Put your hands in the air. Do you want me to put the gun down, or do you want me to put my hands in the air? Which one do you want me to do?
So you're either Tuor or Veronway here, Abby. What do you do? What do you say?
I think I would first say, like, we're not enemies. Like, I'm not here to hurt anyone. Just get that out of the way of, like, I'm not an enemy.
We come in peace.
Like, we have a common enemy, and it is not me.
Yeah.
I'm here to help you. That kind of thing.
I honestly think Tuor would have been like peeing his pants right about now and like shoving Veronway forward, like, this is your part.
Yeah. No hablo inglés. Here you go.
Yeah. Well, Veronway does speak first, and he says, "We are friends." That's it. That's all he says.
Is that?
Like, I feel like there could be more explanation.
We are friends. What is that? What is that? Jungle Book? We are friends. Anyway.
Yes, with the birds.
Yes.
Yes, with the vultures. The first thing it made me think of was Toy Story 3. Amigo or an amigo? Amigos! We're all amigos!
So he says that they're friends to these scary
at that
elves.
news, yes. They just hear a voice in the dark. They have no idea, like, how many, what it is, who it is, just this voice, this bodiless voice. And, at that news, Veronway and Tuor, like, we're friends! And, they don't just hug it out and believe them and just, like, skip, their way to Gondolin. Instead, the voice says, "Then do as we bid." But after the ominous voice says that, there's just this awkward silence. Quote, "The echo of their voices rolled into silence. Veronway and Tuor stood still, and it seemed to Tuor that many slow minutes passed, and a fear was in his heart, such as no other peril of his road had brought." Like, do as we bid.
So,
what did you want me to do?
Yeah.
It also made me think of that scene in The Force Awakens. Like, so who talks first? You talk first? I talk first?
Yeah. It's
one of my favorite parts of the movie.
So he can't see them. Like, Tuor can't see who's talking.
No.
Okay. That would be scary. Who knows?
Right? So there's awkward, do as we bid. And then it's just like, what? What am I supposed to do? I'm not going to move. I'm not going to move.
Yeah.
And then, quote, there came the beat of feet, growing to a tramping, loud as the march of trolls in that hollow place. Suddenly, an elven lantern was unhooded. So, of course, there was like a bunch of them, elven guards just hiding in the dark the whole time. And of course, they have those amazing Fëanorian lanterns. And so they, unhood the lantern, which just lights up the cave, and it just freezes Tuor in his place. Quote, and its bright ray was turned upon Veronwë before him, but nothing else could Tuor see save a dazzling star in the darkness. And he knew that while that beam was upon him, he could not move, neither to flee nor to run forward. So he literally is a deer in the headlights. Just
like, move, man, move.
Yeah.
I can.
So now that there is this light in this dark cave, the first thing the voice says is, show your faces! You would think that with the light, they could see their faces, but apparently Veronwë and Tuor both had their hoods up. Like maybe it was cold or something. So Veronwë takes off his hood, and I don't know why I love this. Just this little detail here that Tolkien slips in, but seeing Veronwë in the light utterly amazes Tuor. He says, quote, his face shone in the ray, hard and clear, as if graven in stone, and Tuor marveled to see its beauty.
Oh,
like I haven't seen Veronwë's face in this light before. I never noticed how beautiful he is. Get it, Veronwë.
He's also probably like, dang, what the heck, man? We've been traveling so hard and so long. When's the last time I even showered? And you look like that? I probably look like horrible right now.
That's probably closer to what happened. So with Veronwë unhooded, and I'm sure he does like the epic like hair flip with the hood and everything.
Oh man, no.
Oh,
Prince Charming from Shrek, where he takes off his hood and it's like slow motion. Oh shit!
Yes. So he says, quote, know you not whom you see? I am Veronwë of the house of Fingolfin. Or am I forgotten in my own land after a few years? Far beyond the thought of Middle Earth I have wandered, yet I remember your voice, Ella McKeel.
Whoa.
So we know the voice is now. He just got called out. Sorry, Ella. Man, that Audible guy makes it sound so easy. Ella McKeel. Makiel. Okay. So he responds. Sorry. It's a tough name. I'm sorry.
It is.
Quote, then Veronwë will remember also the laws of his land, since by command he went forth, he has the right to return, but not to lead hither any stranger. By that deed, his right is void, and he must be led as a prisoner to the king's judgment. As for the stranger, he shall be slain or held captive at the judgment of the guard. Lead him hither, that I may judge.
And Tuor's like, oh, dang it. Oh, jeez. Okay.
So at this point, Tuor should just like run, right? Or at least like hide behind Veronwë a little or something. But no, Veronwë actually shoves Tuor forward, and the Noldor guards come out of the dark and surround them both with swords. And after a good, long, hard look at Tuor, Ella McKeel says, quote, this is strange in you, Veronwë. We were long friends. Why then would you set me thus cruelly between the law and my friendship? If you had led hither unbidden one of the other houses of the Noldor, that were enough. But you have brought to knowledge of the way a mortal man. For by his eyes I perceive his kin. Yet free can he never go, knowing the secret. And as one of alien kin that has dared to enter, I should slay him, even though he be your friend and dear to you. Like, it'd be a one thing if you brought another elf with you, but you brought
a gross man in here.
A gross man. And it seems like he's your friend and you actually like him? Ew, what has happened to you, Veronwë?
I can totally see them like sniffing like, oh,
yes.
God. Oh, jeez. You brought a mortal with you?
Yes. But instead of like defending Tuor, like he's really nice, I swear, or
Yeah.
he's not like the other ones. Bronway just says like basically outside world, the world outside of Gondolin, it's crazy, y'all. Like,
have you guys? You have been missing out. You guys have definitely living under a rock over here, guys. Like, it's a real world out there.
Quote, in the wide lands without Ella Makil, many strange things may befall one, and tasks unlooked for be laid on one. What I have done under command, greater than the law of the guard. The king alone should judge me, and him that comes with me. Like, I have a destiny higher than your judgment. I've got orders from up above, sir.
Yes.
I don't have them in my hand, but they are orders nonetheless. But this is when Tuor... It's actually just a piece of seaweed. But...
yeah.
Magic seaweed.
Yes.
This is when Tuor finally... Yes. This is when Tuor finally works up the nerve to stand up for himself, and a bit for Veronway. He says, quote, I come with Veronway because he was appointed to be my guide by the Lord of Waters. To this end was he delivered from the wrath of the sea and the doom of the Valar, for I bear from Ulmo an errand to the son of Fingolfin, and to him will I speak it.
Whoa.
So remember Veronway's reaction to this news? Like, what do you think Ella Makil's reaction is going to be? Nuh-uh. Prove it.
Prove it.
Prove it.
Do you guys have matching friendship bracelets? I didn't think so.
What's the secret password? What is Ulmo's favorite song? What song did he sing for you at your birthday? But Ella Makil looks to Tuor in amazement and says, quote, who then are you, and whence come you? Like, who the heck are you, and where did you come from?
Yeah. She doesn't even go here.
Yeah. I can only imagine Tuor replying, hands on hips, chest puffed out like a superhero, and he says, quote, I am Tuor, son of Hor, of the house of Hador, and the kindred of Hurin. And these names, I am told, are not unknown in the Hidden Kingdom.
I can you can like hear his heart beating under his armor.
Yes.
Like,
but I do...
trying to be brave.
Yes. I do find it odd. Like, they keep looking at him so closely. Like, was Hurin and Hor's visit to Gondolin not that big of a deal? Like, did only, like, certain people get to meet them? Because, like, they've only met that, like, one man, really, or those two men, really, outside of inside Gondolin.
Looked pretty similar.
Right. So I'm like, why was this, like, why did he have to say, like, you think it should, I bet you're Hurin's, nephew or... something. But apparently that's just kind of pushed to the side because Ella Makil is more interested in the Ulmo aspect. He's like, oh, you got that higher up, clearance. Okay. I guess I should take him to the king. So instead of killing him or his clearance level. So instead of killing him or, putting him in a prison cell, he's like, okay, I guess I can take you further. Quote, and Tuor and Veronway were set between tall guards, and their captain led them from the cavern, and they passed into a straight passage, and there walked long upon a level floor until a pale light gleamed ahead.
Hmm.
So, in the Silmarillion, it mentions the 7 gates of Gondolin. 7's the magic number. But it doesn't describe them at all. It's just like, 7 gates, and then they went to Gondolin, and then
they used
stuff
one
happened.
of the gates.
Yeah.
I guess.
Something, gate, door, whatever. But this is the Unfinished Tales, so we are going to hear all about the gates. Woo! So excited. Woo-woo! Okay, so this first gate is called the Gate of Wood. It was also referred to as the Dark Gate. Quote, thus they came at length to a wide arch with tall pillars upon either hand, hewn in the rock. and between hung a great portcullis of crossed wooden bars, marvelously carved and studded with nails of iron. Ella Makil touched it, and it rose silently, and they passed through.
Whoa.
So I know, like, magic, quote unquote, isn't really a thing with the elves. Like, it's a weird thing. It's not like levitating magic. It's not like it's a weird thing with Tolkien. But how does the gate open with just Ella Makil's touch? I don't understand. I want more details.
I don't know.
So, all right. So once they are through the gate of wood, they come to a ravine. Quote, the like of which he had never before held or imagined in his thought, his being Tuor's. Here the hands of the Valar themselves and ancient wars of the world's beginning had wrested the great mountains asunder, and the sides of the rift were sheer as if axe-cloven, and they towered up to heights unguessable. There aloft ran a ribbon of sky, and against its deep blue stood black peaks and jagged pinnacles, remote but hard, cruel as spears. Too high were those mighty walls for the winter sun to overlook, and though it was now full morning, faint stars glimmered above the mountain tops, and down below all was dim. The floor of the ravine sloped steeply up, winding upward, till it vanished into shadow.
Ooh.
Poor Tuor. He can't escape an incline, right? He cannot escape an incline to save his life in this journey. Like, of course it's uphill.
The calves. He's got rock hard calves now.
At this point, yeah. Quote, how far that deep road ran, Tuor could not guess. And as he stared onward, a great weariness came upon him like a cloud.
He's like, dang it.
Yes. Don't you have an escalator or like a, what are those called with the Uber or the bicycles with the rickshaw? Don't you have a rickshaw?
Yeah.
I guess that would be below you. Elves.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Oh, how about an eagle? Can we ride an eagle up there? Why can't they just take the eagles to Gondolin?
Eagle Uber.
Eagle Uber.
They're above that, though.
Yeah.
They're kings.
So on top of the incline, on top of the weariness, now, quote, a chill wind hissed over the faces of the stones, and he, Tuor, drew his cloak close about him, and he said, cold blows the wind from the hidden kingdom. I don't know about you guys, but I'm freaking freezing. Are you guys not freezing? Do elves not get cold? What is with you guys?
And he's wearing metal. It's probably not warm at all.
Mm-hmm. So Varanwe tries explaining things, and he says, quote, to a stranger, it might seem that pride has made the servants of Turgon pitiless. Long and hard seem the leagues of the seven gates to the hungry and wayworn. Like, well, I think it seems that way because it is that way, Broadway. I mean, I'm just saying, like, it doesn't really seem like a fun road.
Maybe that's just another level of security of, like, if you don't die getting there, you might die getting through the door. So,
I guess. But then Ella Makil joins in and he says, quote, if our law were less stern, long ago guile and hatred would have entered and destroyed us. That you know well. But we are not pitiless. Here there is no food, and the stranger may not go back through a gate that he has passed. Endure then a little, and at the second gate you shall be eased. We can't possibly have food and snacks at the first gate. Are you crazy? That would have been too inviting. Like we're trying to deter people ants.
Here. Ants. We would have had a problem with that. Maybe mice. We can't have that here.
So Tuor, he's a pretty tough guy. He's been through a lot at this point, and he says, well, despite your weird laws that aren't supposed to be pitiless, but are pretty much like that, it's all good. I guess, it's fine. It's fine. Quote, thus they went on up the steep way, sometimes by long stairs, sometimes by winding slopes, under the daunting shadow of the cliff.
Oh, he's like, is that the top? Nope, just more stairs.
Yeah.
Is that up? Okay. All right.
All right. So I automatically thought of Encanto with Bruno's room, like when she's like trying to run up the stairs and trying to be like all upbeat, like "Welcome to the family, where'd you go? There's
Yeah.
so many stairs, and because you think there'd be another way to get so high because we're magic, but no,
Yeah.
Bruno, your room is the worst."
Yeah. My favorite would be if they were like, Tori, you go first. We'll just be right behind you. Like, you got to keep up with our
Oh yeah,
like speed. And
yeah.
he's like, okay.
So after that misery, they finally get to the second gate. So the first gate was made out of wood. What do you think this next one's made out of? Any guesses?
Straw. I'm going Three Little Pigs.
Okay, well that'd be a weak gate. You could just burn it.
Yeah. Okay, so wood, I'm gonna say marble or
Close. It says,
okay.
quote, "Some half league from the wood gate, Tuor saw that the way was barred by a great wall built across the ravine from side to side, with stout towers of stone at either hand. In the wall was a great archway above the road, but it seemed that masons had blocked it with a single mighty stone." So literally this like drop big rock in the middle. And then I guess we'll build like towers on the side of it. "Here stands the second gate, the gate of stone."
Whoa.
Doesn't say what kind of stone, just stone.
TM,
Now,
TM, TM.
how do you think this one will open? So the first one, he just got to like touch it, and it came up.
Maybe it's like the Mines of Moria, where like it looks like
okay.
stone, and then when it happens, it opens, but like you can't see that it's a door at all.
Okay. Quote, "And going up to it, Elamachiel thrust lightly upon it. It turned upon an unseen pivot until its edge was towards them, and the way was open upon either side. And they passed through into a court where stood many armed guards clad in gray. And there food and wine was brought to them, and they were permitted to rest a while." So in my head, the boulder was like a circle, but it's more maybe like an oval where you like, and you just turn like a revolving door almost. I don't know how they managed that, but that sounds super freaking cool.
Speaking of revolving doors, I don't know if you guys, I'm sure everyone on this podcast knows what a revolving door is, and it's kind of like a spinning, you have to like kind of time it right.
Yes.
To get through it. Mm-hmm. My husband, funnily enough, when he was like 4, he was running in a revolving door, and his ear got stuck in between door and the wall part, and he has a big scar on the outside, like where it's connected to his head. Like it almost ripped his ear off. Is that crazy? Who thought that could be a new fear unlocked? Your ear could be stuck
you for that.
in a revolving door. Did that happen to Tuor? Did he get his ear stuck?
He was able to walk through because he didn't spin around in the door like probably 4-year-old little Colt did. But hooray for rest and food finally. So they're able to sit and drink a little and eat a little. Yay! Quote, "After a little space, they came to a wall, yet higher and stronger than before, and in it was set the third gate." All right, so we've had
what food?
Wood. What food was there?
No, I'm gonna say like, who has to
Oh.
stay there and prep food for the second, the second
I don't.
gate?
Okay. I'm gonna say this. So there's 7 gates past the dark tunnel. Like, I feel like there's a lot of deterrence along the way. How much action did these guards actually see? Because how would they get past like all the things? Like, I feel
There's
like
like
it's a bit
there's like a
excessive.
metal detector one, and like the ones you go through for like security for the airport. Like it's like,
I just don't know. Like, it's a bit of an overkill. I'm sorry, Turgon, but what were you so afraid of? Okay,
so
so
the
we've had
next one
wood, we've had
after wood and
stone.
stone,
Yeah. What do you think's next?
water,
That
like a
sounds
waterfall,
amazing.
like a waterfall.
No.
Damn.
Quote, the gate of bronze. A great two-fold door hung with shields and plates of bronze, wherein were wrought many figures and strange signs. Upon the wall above its lintel were 3 square towers, roofed and clad with copper. Like, I thought it was the gate of bronze. Why is there copper? But I guess it's kind of similar color. That, by some device of smithcraft, were ever bright and gleamed as fire in the rays of the red lamps ranged like torches along the wall.
Shiny.
Okay, so we know Tolkien loves his details. We're going to hear about each of these 7 gates, but from this point on, we're also going to hear about the guards and what they got to wear too, because of course they're themed. I mean,
are they also
they
shiny?
were shiny. They're also shiny. Okay. In the court, beyond a yet greater company of guards in mail that glowed like dull fire, and the blades of their axes were red.
Whoa. Dude, that would be crazy to see. Especially when they're like in a cave kind of situation and have chainmail that looks like it's like molten metal still. Amazing.
And they mentioned it, so I'm going to mention it. I can't quite figure out why this detail is important, but whatever, Tolkien, you do you. This is your book. They do mention here as a kind of side note that the Sindar elves that joined up with Turgon and the Noldor way, way back in Nevras, remember they like settled in Nevras and they like joined the Sindar elves that were next door, like, hey, why don't you come to Gondolin with us? So they are the ones that mainly manned this particular gate for some reason. So yeah, don't know why. Can't figure out like the Sindar elves like bronze. I don't know. Then I got nothing. So we are now 3 gates in, and it's been a rough journey for Tuor and Bronway. So it's all got to be downhill from here, right? Like they deserve that. Just give it to them, please. Do you think that's going to happen though? No.
It's a slide. It's a slide now. It's like a key slide that they can just like go. No. The next one's gonna be they hand them an inner tube. It's a water slide. It's got cool, and then they land in a lazy river, and then they can lazy river themselves up into the entrance.
I like it. I think you and I need to design Gondolin next time.
Yeah.
All right. So, not going to happen for Tuor and Bronway. Quote, now, after all the crap that they've been through, now they came to the most toilsome road.
Oh.
The slope was
this one's the
steepest.
most toilsome.
Yeah.
This one.
And so the slope was at the steepest, and as they climbed, Tuor saw the mightiest of the walls looming dark above him. Thus, at last, they drew near the 4th gate. Okay, so we got wood, stone, bronze. What's the 4th gate going to be?
Slide.
Okay.
Water slide.
You're really rooting for that water slide. I like it. But no. Quote, the gate of Rithen Iron. High and black was the wall, and lit with no lamps. 4 towers of iron stood upon it, and between the 2 inner towers was set an image of a great eagle wrought in iron, even the likeness of King Thorondor himself, as he would alight upon a mountain from the high airs.
Whoa.
But as Tuor stood before the gate, it seemed to his wonder that he was looking through boughs and stems of imperishable trees into a pale glade of the moon. For a light came through the traceries of the gate, which were wrought and hammered into the shapes of trees, with writhing roots and woven branches laden with leaves and flowers. The wall was of great thickness, and there was not 1 grille, but 3 in line, so set that to one who approached in the middle of the way, each formed part of the device. But the light beyond was the light of day, for they had climbed now to a great height above the lowlands where they began.
Wow.
Yeah. So, interesting choice here. So, iron is what they chose of all the different things so far. You know, we have wood, stone, bronze. Iron is what they chose for King Thorondor, which I thought was interesting. Wonder why.
Gold would have been cooler.
Right. And then to make the gate trees.
Someone had to make those. Some poor person had to make all of that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Are you now ready to hear what the guards of this gate looked like?
Trees. Do they look like trees?
They do not look like trees. Black were their mantles, and their mail and long shields, and their faces were masked with visors, bearing each an eagle's beak.
Whoa.
So, like, is this Thorondor's gate? I feel like it'd be, like, fair to call it that.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I need to see all of these. Someone needs to make armor.
Right? Okay, time for another gate. What do you think? We've had wood, stone, bronze, iron. And now what do you think's next?
Jewels. Like
that would be cool.
Like mined jewels.
Like gemstones, yeah.
Like crystals and stuff.
That would be really cool. Let me see if I can give you another hint, though. Along the pathway to this gate was some grass. And in the grass was something, a plant. Quote, like stars bloomed the white flowers of Ulos, the evermind that knows no season and withers not. Now, this flower is called evermind because it blossoms in all the seasons and also, here's a big hint, grows where dead men rest. Do you remember these flowers?
Yeah.
The Symbolmine, which are the, if you don't remember, the white flowers that are so pretty that grow on the burial mounds in Rohan. So these beautiful white flowers that look like stars lead up to this gate.
So I'm going to assume like vines or trees or something like that.
Okay. It's more dead the color people? Of the dead people. It's more the colors of the flower. Quote, thus in wonder and lightning of heart, he, Tuor, was brought to the gate of silver.
Oh.
The wall of the 5th gate was built of white marble. I feel like the gate of white would be more appropriate, but whatever. So, built of white marble.
You have the black gate. Why not the white gate?
Right. So, the wall of the 5th gate was built of white marble and was low and broad, and its parapet was a trellis of silver between 5 great globes of marble. And there stood many archers robed in white. The gate was in shape as 3 parts of a circle, and wrought of silver and pearl of Nevrast in likeness of the moon. But above the gate, upon the midmost globe stood an image of the white tree Telperion, wrought of silver and malachite with flowers made of great pearls.
Okay, that sounds gorgeous. But also, I
Right?
wasn't that far off. I said
You were-
gems and stuff. So I was pretty close, I feel. And I also said marble, so in one of my guesses. I wasn't technically the right guess of like the fifth gate, but I was close.
You were
out
very
there.
close. You were.
That would be
Okay.
so pretty. Oh my gosh.
Right? All right. Are you ready for the guards of the Silver Gate?
Well, they said that they were wearing white, but are they are they shimmery? Are they shimmery? Are they sparkling?
I feel like he kind of held out on this one because he says, quote, in a wide court paved with marble, green and white, stood archers in silver mail and white crested helms, 100 upon either hand. So he doesn't really go into detail about their armor as much, but he's like, by the way, there be 200 at this gate.
Dang.
Yeah. And they just stand there because they're at the fifth gate. I mean, who's going to get that far? But anyways, now on to the sixth gate, which is kind of obvious because the Gate of Silver, what do you think is next? It's got to be
silver and gold.
You are my best friend. I knew it. Okay. So, quote, they entered upon a long white road that ran straight towards the sixth gate. And as they went, the grass became whiter, and among the white stars of Ulos, the symbol mine, I can't remember how you say it, but the flowers that we were talking about, there opened many small flowers like eyes of gold. So they came to the Golden Gate, the last of the ancient gates of Turgon. And it was much like the Gate of Silver, save that the wall was built of yellow marble, and the globes and parapet were of red gold. And there were 6 globes, and in the midst upon a golden pyramid was set an image of Laurelin, the tree of the sun, with flowers wrought of topaz and long clusters upon chains of gold. And the gate itself was adorned with discs of gold, many rayed, and likenesses of the sun, set amid devices of garnet and topaz and yellow diamonds.
Oh. Wow. Do you think Tuor is like, whoa, my eyes, it's too beautiful. He thought Veronway was beautiful. He's like, oh, my eyes, it's too beautiful. Okay, I think it's really rad that they had both trees represented. That's pretty cool.
Well, Turgon, he likes the original stuff.
Yes.
Remember, he was the only one that had a when he built Gondolin. In the Gondolin city itself, there is a Laurelin and Telperion tree. He was the only one to do that.
Fancy.
Kudos, Turgon.
What a fancy guy.
Fancy. Okay, you were going to say something.
I was going to say that I was right, that there are gemstones everywhere. It's beautiful.
Yep.
You can't undermine the elves when it comes to beauty. They got to pull out all the stops,
All right, now for the guards. Quote, 300 archers with long bows, and their mail was gilded, and tall golden plumes rose from their helmets, and their great round shields were red as flame.
Whoa. Crazy.
So we had 200 archers at the previous gate. Now we're at 300 archers. I mean, they just stand there. Sorry, I can't get over that.
Swapped out. Maybe they get swapped out. Maybe.
Well, yeah. But also, I was just thinking this, like, they had they're elves, right? They have a long time to build Gondolin. Like, once they've, got the city set up, okay, now we have to make the entrances pretty. Because, why not?
Yeah. We can't sully my name with ugly entrances.
Right.
Gross. And then the last gate is
the last gate.
Metal detector. The metal detector they have to walk through.
Kind of.
And a chubby security guard person with a wand, and he like goes up and down your body. Put your arms out to the side, please.
What has it got in its pockets?
And they look really annoyed, like they have to do this all the time, and they haven't got their lunch break yet. And he made the alarm go off, so they have to pull him to the side and really give him a thorough.
You're getting metal on you, and he takes off his cloak, and it's all metal.
Yeah,
sir, I just asked you.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I left my keys in my pocket. Dang it. Sorry, hold on. Keys and cell phones out of your pockets, please. Sweatshirts off as well. No hoodies.
Okay.
He has to tie up his
you might have
again.
You might have heard me say earlier that that was the final gate of Turgon, but there's still 7 gates. So who made this last gate? Do you have a guess?
His wife.
His wife was dead, Abby. She didn't make it to Gondolin.
For his wife.
Okay, probably. Well, I don't know how she would feel about this guy. Do you remember Turgon's creepy nephew, Maeglin?
Oh, yes.
Yes. He was the one that made this gate.
Why did he get the privilege?
Because remember, he was like really good with his hands, and he learned a lot from his dad, A-hole. Sorry, I know it's A-hole, but in this podcast, he is forever known as A-hole because he was one. And plus, he gets like, he's like the nephew of the king, and like, Turgon really liked his mom and stuff. So
it's like an emo gate.
Yes.
It's like a hot topic. You walk into a hot topic.
You would think so. But okay. So if Maeglin were to make a gate, what would he make it out of? Oh my gosh, I thought of what it should be.
Tears and eyeliner. Eyeliner and chain wallet, baggy pants, and
just made out of chains.
And sad lyrics and poems, and just a lot of hair dye. What?
Well, I just thought of what it should have been made out of, and it should have been made out of obsidian, because how cool would that have been? But it's not. It's not. I just thought of like emo plus strong obsidian. Yeah. Anyway.
That would be rad.
Right? Okay. So that's not what the 7th gate is made out of. The 7th gate, quote, named the Great.
Oh.
The gate.
Great or Grate? The Great Gate?
Yes. The Gate of Steel that Maeglin wrought. No wall stood there, but on either hand were 2 round towers of great height, many windowed, tapering in 7 stories, of course there's 7, to a turret of bright steel. And between the towers there stood a mighty fence of steel that rusted not. Can't have any rust in Gondolin, but glittered cold and white. 7 great pillars of steel there were, tall with the height and girth of strong young trees, but ending in a bitter spike that rose to the sharpness of a needle. You are not getting across this fence. You're not going above it. And between the pillars were 7 crossbars of steel, and in each space 7 times 7 rods of steel. So many 7s in this gate, Abby, with heads like the broad blades of spears. But in the center, above the midmost pillar and the greatest, was raised a mighty image of the king helm of Turgon, the crown of the hidden kingdom set about with diamonds.
Whoa, shiny.
Shiny. So all these pointy things, and then at the top, we'll like, oh, that's something pretty, I guess. But funny enough, this last gate isn't quite a gate. Quote, no gate or door could Tuor see in this mighty hedge of steel. But as he drew near, through the spaces between its bars, there came a dazzling light, and he shaded his eyes and stood still in dread and wonder. Elamakiel went forward, and no gate opened to his touch, but he struck upon a bar, and the fence rang like a harp of many strings, giving forth clear notes in harmony that ran from tower to tower.
What? It like...
It's a musical gate?
What?
Like a xylophone?
Oh, man. And he has to play a certain song, and it changes every time you have to go through. That's how it's like really hard to get through.
I like it. I like it.
The first song in my head was like the song bum 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 bum. You know that? Please tell me you remember.
It sounds like
bum bum bum.
It sounds like something from Zelda.
No, it's Encounter of the I want to say seventh kind, but a second kind.
Oh,
is it seven or second?
It's an alien movie. You do alien movies, and I do the serial killer movies. This is no. I can't do the alien movies. I don't know why.
Second kind. Third. I can't remember. That movie's old. Third. Encounters of the Third Kind. Sure.
Fourth. Fifth.
Yeah, third.
I don't know. Anyways.
Third.
Okay.
Third.
So after the musical gate rang its harmony, riders immediately come from the towers, but there was one particular rider leading them. Quote, high and noble as Elamakiel was, greater and more lordly was Ecthelion, Lord of the Fountains, at that time Warden of the Great Gate. All in silver was he clad, and upon his shining helm there was set a spike of steel, pointed with a diamond. And as his esquire took his shield, it shimmered as if it were bedewed with drops of rain that were indeed 1,000 studs of crystal.
What?
Yeah.
First of all, did his helmet have a unicorn horn on it? Second of all, a sparkly shield, like bedazzled shield.
But it's like a unicorn horn, but it has a diamond on the top at the tip of it, which makes me think, why is the cork on the fork?
Yeah. No, I was thinking of the whole horn is a diamond.
Oh, I see. Well, it was a steel point with a spike of steel pointed with a diamond. I don't know how that works. So was it like an arrowhead almost of diamond? I don't know. But anyways, do you remember who Ecthelion is?
The name is pretty rad.
Okay, right? He didn't have a ton of page time in the Silmarillion, but he did do something pretty freaking awesome. So, and of course, we're not going to get to it because they don't actually talk about the fall of Gondolin in the Unfinished Tales. They just talk about Tuor and his journey to Gondolin. But during the fall of Gondolin, you know, the one where Morgoth sent armies of orcs and dragons and balrogs to attack Gondolin because Maeglin was a little pathetic dweeb and gave up the location of Gondolin. But anyways, during that major battle, Ecthelion managed to kill the Lord of all Balrogs, Gothmog. The Balrog who killed King... Right, who killed King Fingon and during the Battle of Numbered Tears captured Horin. So this elf, Ecthelion, is the one that killed that Balrog. Sadly, he was killed in the process, but still, so cool.
So he hasn't done that yet in this scene.
No. But greatness is upon this one. The force is strong with this one. So up till
Oh
now,
man.
the guards of the different gates have just kind of like let them all go through. They don't really say anything. They just kind of like, I'm sure Elamakil's got it. But since Ecthelion is the warden of the Great Gate, this is like the highest superior they've come across so far. So Elamakil, goes up to him, salutes Ecthelion, introduces Veronway and Tuor, and it doesn't go so well. Quote, then Ecthelion turned to Tuor, but he drew his cloak about him and stood silent, facing him. I know Éomer isn't an elf, but that scene with Éomer and the Rohirrim staring down and surrounding Aragorn and Gimli, like, it just made me think of this, like, just the fierceness of the face and the cool helmet and just, like, looking down on you. Just, what are you doing here, punk? But what's funny...
Okay, side story. Side really fast story, because this, for some reason, reminded me of it. The other day, yesterday, I was reading on the couch, and Luna and Oakley, my two younger ones, an 8-year-old and 2-year-old, were sitting at the kitchen table, like painting, like watercolor painting. Yeah. And Luna was trying to do it, but Oakley was just kind of bothering her.
Sure.
And I don't know why this reminded me of it, but she goes, "Beat it, kid." To my 2-year-old. So it just reminds me, I can see Ecthelion being like, "What the? Beat it, kid."
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
Yeah. But what's funny, okay, so think of that, keep that image in your brain, because for some reason, I don't know why this happened, but I kind of love it. Because Veronway's watching this happen, and it seemed to Veronway, quote, that a mist mantled Tuor, and his stature was increased, so that the peak of his high hood overtopped the helm of the Elf Lord, as it were the crest of a gray sea wave riding to the land. So, like, somehow Olmo's like, I'm going to make this meeting a bit easier for Tuor. I'm going to make him taller. Like,
is it like when Gandalf grows really big, where he's like intimidating Bilbo? He's like, wow.
Maybe, but like, I just don't know. Like, Olmo, it's like, I got you, bro. I'm not going to let that guy intimidate you. Let me get you on the same level. Of all the things.
Yeah. Yeah.
But another interesting footnote here, because, Unfinished Tales is all about the footnotes. From this point, the carefully written, though much amended manuscript ceases, and the remainder of the narrative is hastily scribbled on a scrap of paper.
Oh.
So imagine Christopher, like, wait, that's how it ends? Oh, wait, no, there's this paper glue, like, or taped to the side of it, like...
Yeah.
Is this a napkin from a restaurant? What were you doing?
Gross.
But, like, also, why did I automatically imagine Tolkien thinking, like, okay, Ecthelion has to make a big statement here. So let me just think about this for a second. Maybe I'll, like, take a shower or a bath or something to think about it. And then, like, all of a sudden it comes to him and he's, like, runs out of the shower, like, towel wrapped around his waist, like, dripping. He's like, I have to write. Where's the piece of paper? Like, he can't find the original manuscript he was writing with.
Wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like sleeping next to his wife and just like sits up in bed like, I know now. She's like,
yeah. All right. So you ready to hear what that inspiration says?
Okay.
Quote.
With giant Tuor. He's looking at giant Tuor.
Oh my gosh. I just literally thought of like a seagull like coming forward with like a box for Tuor to stand on so that they're the same height.
Yeah. Exactly.
But Ecthelion bent his bright glance upon Tuor, and after a silence, he spoke gravely, saying, "You have come to the last gate. Know then that no stranger who passes it shall ever go out again, save by the door of death."
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. Pretty intimidating, but as we know, Tuor doesn't respond well to threats. And he says, quote, "Speak not ill-boding. If the messenger of the Lord of Waters go by that door, then all those who dwell here will follow him. Lord of the Fountains, hinder not the messenger of the Lord of Waters."
Yeah. Ronway's like, yeah.
Do you think it gets confusing that there's a Lord of the Fountains and a Lord of the Waters? Like, they're both water.
Yeah. You can't be a fountain without me. So, yeah.
Apparently, no one talks to Ecthelion like that. And I can just imagine Veronway and Elemakil are just like open mouth, like, dang. Oh, no, you didn't. And on top of talking to Ecthelion like that, apparently Tuor somehow used his Olmo voice. Like, remember when, like, Olmo would, like, speak through Tuor? That's what happened right then. So, even more so, like, what? Quote.
He'd put on his scary voice.
Mm-hmm. Quote, for a while, Ecthelion stood silent, looking at Tuor, and slowly, awe filled his face as if in the gray shadow of Tuor's cloak he saw visions from far away. Then he bowed and went to the fence and laid hands upon it, and gates opened inward on either side of the pillar of the crown. So somehow the Olmo voice worked and he was able to get through the gate. Quote.
Awesome.
Yes. Then Tuor passed through and looked out over the valley beyond. He beheld a vision of Gondolin amid the white snow, and so entranced was he that for long he could look at nothing else, for he saw before him at last the vision of his desire out of dreams of longing.
He had to have cried, right? He had to have been.
He cried a little bit, right? He had to have. Fall on the knees.
Tolkien writes his
so
men
beautiful.
Cry. They cry in his books.
They cry, 100%. A Tuor cries. You better believe Tuor cries. Yes. Flower crown Tuor.
He's my Thor, so of course he does.
Mm-hmm. Quote, thus he stood and spoke no word. Silent upon either hand stood a host of the army of Gondolin. All of the 7 kinds of the 7 gates were there represented. Then, even as they gazed on Tuor in wonder, his cloak fell down, and he stood there before them in the mighty livery of Nevrast. And many were there who had seen Turgon himself set these things upon the wall behind the seat of Vinyamar. So the cloak's off, and they get to see the armor that was custom made for Tuor. Just like anthem playing, trumpets blasting,
sunlight.
Yes. Like he could have taken that cloak off at any time before this, but he chose for the most dramatic entrance. And, respect. I mean, Quote, then Ecthelion said at last, now no further proof is needed. And even the name he claims as son of Hor matters less than this clear truth, that he comes from Olmo himself.
Wow. The label, his tag sticking out from his armor, it says.
Yeah. Mating.
From a made by Olmo.
Yeah. So what's funny is that's actually the end of the official manuscript. And from here on out is just footnotes, which just from a jumble of notes about the rest of it. Basically, Tuor asks, what's the name of this city? Because funny enough, the name Gondolin doesn't actually come up until the very end of the story. And it just has been referred to this whole time as the Hidden City. Then you find out that, the name's Gondolin, and then he finds out like the 7 names of Gondolin, because of course there's 7. Ecthelion gives the signal from the last gate, and an answering signal comes from the city of Gondolin itself. Horses are brought, and Tuor and Veronway ride into Gondolin.
It's like finally a horse.
Yeah, I know, right? Turgon appears and is described as, quote, the tallest of all the children of the world, save Thingol, because, of course, Thingol got the upgrade from a Maiar, so, bit of an unfair advantage there. But Turgon also has a white and gold sword and an ivory sheath, whatever that means. Maeglin, Turgon's emo nephew, was on one side of Turgon, and Idril, Turgon's daughter and Tuor's future wife, was on the other. And that's about it. That's how it ends.
What? He made it.
He made it.
Mm-hmm. Wow. They did.
Sorry, this is a bit longer of an episode, but we were just so close. I'm like, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to break up the gates. I mean, so many cool gates.
I know. True. Well, we did it. They made it. We still have more to go, but
yes, we did.
They did it.
Yes. So don't forget to join us off air by following us at Sisters of the Shire Podcast on Instagram. There you'll discover our posts, artwork, and hilarious memes related to our current episodes and some gems we just simply couldn't resist sharing with you all. Feel free to drop by and say hi or leave a comment. Please be nice. I started a friendly debate that about Gollum and the riddles, and that just kind of blew out of proportion, people. It's a joke. Take it easy.
Take it easy.
Yeah.
We're all friendly here. Let's be friendly.
Yeah. A heartfelt thank you goes out to our current patrons, Dan, our steadfast, loyal and true dwarf friend of the Shire, and Chrishane and Tom, our esteemed and also loyal and true elf companions of the Shire. Your unwavering support means everything to us. If you are eager to become a part of our fellowship of the podcast, you could become a patron as well at patreon.com/Sisters of the Shire Podcast. We offer 3 distinct tiers. For $3 a month, you'll be welcomed as an elf friend of the Shire. For $7 a month, you'll be a dwarf friend of the Shire. And for $9 a month, you'll stand alongside our valiant men and women friends of the Shire. And you know what? As a token of our appreciation, we might even serenade you with a song. Pretty sure it's Abby's turn next. So your support ensures we can keep regaling you with epic tales from Tolkien's magnificent world. And, isn't that just what the world needs more of? So please, if you can't join our Patreon, we get it. Please just leave us a rating and review on your preferred podcast platform. Your feedback fuels our growth and helps connect us with more kindred spirits on this remarkable journey. We did get a new Apple rating. It's been so long. I almost was like, wait, am I reading that right? Did we do it? So I don't know who you were, but I appreciated you. You made my day. World news, since it's been a while. We did actually have some crazy world news because shots fired between the UK and Australia. I know you guys don't get along in general, but now you guys are officially duking it out.
Whoa.
Because the UK was third for from the beginning of time almost, and Australia just overtook them. So you get it, Aussies. Denmark came out of nowhere. It was 17th, and now it is 12th. What? And then Brazil and Spain, you guys were duking it out for a while. Brazil had just gotten that 13th spot back, and Spain just is like, nuh-uh, we take it back. So 13th. Get it, Spain. Greece was 26th, and it overtook the Philippines, the Netherlands, France, and Portugal, and claimed that 22nd spot.
Whoa. You
get it, Greece, and your beautifulness. India overtook Iceland. Nice. Albania. Who went on a listening binge in Albania because they went up 10 spots? I mean, get it, Albania.
Whoa.
But the icing on the cake, the most jumps of this week was Egypt. They were 65th, almost the bottom, and they went to 51st. So, Good job, Egypt. Get it.
Cool.
You listen.
Good job listening.
Good job listening.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so many things. I'm so proud of you all.
Guys, good job. Also, please share with your friends and get more of you guys listening where you live, and then maybe your country can start hopping up places too.
Yeah.
Well, Ashley, thank you for teaching us today.
You are most welcome. Man, my voice is tired. Until next week.
Until next week. So you gotta say your name. Okay. I can't do it for you.
I'm dead. I'm done. Until next week, I've been Ashley.
And I've been Abby. And this has been the Sisters of the Shire podcast. And we are so glad you joined us today. And we hope that you can join us next time. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for teaching me a day.
Yay!